Welcome back, you guys. I'm FC, this is Blue Lions TV, and welcome back to another News Daily video. Now, this is the second video for today, and the reason for this is because there's big news to talk about. Big news to talk about, but before I get into things, you guys, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. Download the app, you will find the link below in the description. Get the app to stay up to date with all the latest news happening, you guys. With the January window, there's news coming left, right and center. Sometimes I won't be able to cover everything. So if you guys don't want to miss out on anything, download the OneFootball app. And of course, one more thing, you can see the tree beside me, you guys. It's Christmas time. If you guys like today's video, do not forget to hit the like button. Help me get over 2,500 likes for today's video. And on that note, we move. Now for the following reports, I was told about them earlier this afternoon. However, the official reports have been released by Matt Law himself, and this is in regards to 3 attacking wingers we're potentially looking to sign in the next January window. Now these 3 players are Wilfried ZAHA, Bayer Leverkusen's Leon Bailey, and of course Villarreal's CHUKWUEZE. Now when it comes to ZAHA, we already know the history and the story on the player. However, when it comes to Bailey and CHUKWUEZE, the club have been actively scouting these players over the past few weeks, so this really tells us that there's strong interest from us for these players. Now the club are in a real predicament right now. Jadon Sancho is the main man the club wants to sign in the next summer window. Unfortunately, this means that he can't be signed in the January window. Now the club don't want to be in a situation where the winger they sign in January doesn't play as much next season due to Sancho potentially signing. Do we sign a player to boost our Champions League hopes for this season? Or do we hope that this current team is actually good enough to help us cross that line and qualify for Champions League football? Now with no CL football, obviously this would jeopardize Sancho's signing for next summer, and this could potentially affect other main targets the club are actively looking at. And of course, if we do sign players now, could this also affect the positions that the club want to strengthen next summer? Anyway, you guys, it's about time that we start to assess each player, and we're going to start off with CHUKWUEZE from Villarreal. Now for this player in particular, he really caught my attention at the start of last season, and that was due to his style and how he played with the ball. Now instantly I start to reminisce about Arjen Robben, and that's because both players do have that style where they're very strong, they're quite tall, they've got great acceleration, and really it comes down to how they both run with the ball. It's in fact no surprise that the player himself has stated that he's looked to model his game on the Dutch legends. As I've said before, we've been actively scouting the player, and could this also explain why the player was liking tweets linking him with the club? Well, I kind of think so, because it's obvious that he would have known that Chelsea scouts had been attending games to watch him play. The player himself has stated that he supports clubs that have had Nigerian players play for them, and because we've had Mikel playing for us, CHUKWUEZE himself has stated that he'd be open to the idea of signing for us, so that's a great thing to hear. Now let's focus on the player right now. What makes this guy so special? Well, it's quite simple. The way he runs with the ball is incredible, his acceleration is close control, the ball really sticks to his left foot, and I can imagine him combining with Reece James down that right hand side. With CHUKWUEZE playing in the half space, attracting men towards him, freeing up Reece James to be that man out wide by himself, well, CHUKWUEZE could really open up a lot of passing angles and shooting angles, and this could really benefit the team a lot. With his nimbleness on the ball, his speed on the counter-attack, acceleration, his ability to play Champions League football, and a rumoured price tag between 25 million to 40 million pounds, well, could this guy not be the most ideal signing to make in the January window? I'm not too sure. Now the reason for my hesitancy isn't because I don't think he's good enough, I just personally feel like this move may be too soon. And that's because I'm analysing what it takes to be a young player really playing for a top club. As we're seeing already with our very young players, there's been a lot of critique surrounding all of them. Not one player other than Reece James has escaped critique from the fan base. And when you consider that the signings we're making in January have that responsibility and that added pressure to really help us cross that finishing line to secure Champions League football for next season, well, can we really demand that type of level from CHUKWUEZE right now? I'm not too sure. Currently this season, he hasn't been completing as many games for the full 90 minutes, and that's obviously part of his development. This season, it seems like teams are starting to understand him a bit more, and for that reason, CHUKWUEZE isn't making as many dribbles as last season. However, when it comes to key passes per game, that's something that has improved, but it's come to the detriment of the amount of shots he takes per game. Now of course this comes down to him taking better shots, but I just personally feel like this move is way too soon for the player and his current development. A lot of times with players like this, you need to play it smart. If you sign for a big club immediately, then expect that pressure to come. And if you know that your game isn't perfected just yet, is it really the best time to sign for a club like us right now? I'm not too sure. I kind of see it like this. When it comes to the expected output I want from any wingers we sign, I'm expecting at least 5 to 8 goals and at least 3 to 5 assists. And is that something that I can expect from CHUKWUEZE right now? I'm not too sure. I definitely think he's a player to really pay attention to. By the time he's 22 years old or 23, he really could be a standout option. But I think right now to sign for us, especially without a pre-season, well, I think the pressure may be a bit too high, but I think the player himself is pretty smart and he understands already that he has to stay at Villarreal for a bit. So let's see what happens. But on that note, you guys, we move on to the second target we're looking at, and that's Leon Bailey. One more quick plug, you guys. Today there is a 30% sale off on the Club Mega Store. If you're planning on buying Christmas gifts, well, today could be the perfect day. If you guys use my affiliate link codes below in the description, that would help me out a ton. I'd really appreciate that. But anyway, we get back into the video. Now you guys know that we have a long history with the player. I've done so many videos on him. I have one video that really blew up in Jamaica, so respect to all you man. And recently he scored 2 goals versus Bayern Munich, which won Leverkusen all 3 points, putting Bailey back on the scene. However, this season it has been a bit of a stop-start season for Bailey. He started the season injured, he comes back and he gets 2 red cards. His latest red card potentially rolling him out up to 3 to 4 games. Could this be tactical? If he's out for that long, especially when German clubs do have a winter break, but by the time he returns back to playing first team football after a suspension, we'd already be in January. And could this be a smart move to force Leverkusen to sell the player this window? I'm not saying anything, it's only a personal theory. What exactly do we get with Leon Bailey these days? Well, Leon Bailey is one of the fastest players in the Bundesliga. He's got explosive acceleration, his movement in behind is very good, he has got a very strong left foot, and one thing in particular that I like is that the player is not afraid to take shots, and that's something we've missed out on. How many times back in the day did we used to win tight games by taking 25-yard shots into the back of the net? Currently, our style of attack is quite predictable, and I think we're missing out on certain qualities like this. Still though, I know what some of you guys are thinking. Nini, if we sign Leon Bailey, I swear this guy's playing down the left hand side for Leverkusen. We've got Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic. Do we really need any more unnecessary competition? Personally, you guys, I think the reason why Bailey does play down the left hand side is purely for tactical reasons. Bailey himself has stated that the right hand side is his best position because his left foot is his strongest asset. He likes to cut inside, he likes to take shots, and in this team right now, down that right hand side, we are missing out on quality. We are missing out on those quality shooting angles and passing angles. How many times have we seen Willian struggling down that right hand side, not being able to fashion any opportunities because he's not really playing on the strongest side of the field. There's also one more thing that Bailey can provide quality to this team with, and that's his crosses in the box. Bailey loves to put his crosses inside that penalty box, an area in which Tammy Abraham is regularly finding himself in. However, he's not getting that consistent quality he needs. With Leon Bailey, that becomes another option, and we're a team struggling to break down teams that have low blocks and defend deep. When you have players like Bailey, they only open up more attacking opportunities for you. And if you're comparing him to CHUKWUEZE, well, I'd say that his development is a lot further along right now, and I think he could handle the pressure of playing for this club. Now we move on to the final player for today, and that's Wilfried ZAHA. Now I'm going to say it straight, the interest in ZAHA isn't as strong as it used to be. And the main reason for this is the transfer price that Crystal Palace want for the player. 80 million is too high for ZAHA. It's way too high. I'd say it's about 40-30 million too high. But still though, you guys, who knows what's going to happen. Let's say hypothetically that we lose against Spurs. The boards may potentially feel like securing Champions League football may be at risk. And if we miss out on Europe this season, that's going to affect the quality of business we can do in the following window. After a potential defeat to Spurs, that could put the pressure on the club, and the board may have new ideas, and maybe they may feel that actually paying 80 million for ZAHA is the best thing to do because it's going to guarantee us CL football for next year. You know what, you guys? I do feel sorry for Zaha. He should have left Palace at least 2 years ago, and he's been priced up from a move time and time again. Now, a lot of times we stick it on players for wanting to leave clubs to progress their careers, but we do not criticise clubs enough for forcing players to stay really against their will. Now, I'm going to say credit to Zaha and credit to his mentality, because even though he has been disappointed with moves away, he still kept his professionalism, he still works hard for Crystal Palace, and he's still putting up very high attacking stats for this season. Well, if we do sign Zaha, well, most definitely going to need some Marina magic. And that's because when it comes to negotiations, he knows how to get the best possible deals. Who knows what could potentially happen? Could we put some players as part of the deal to sign Zaha? Could she negotiate with Palace and get that fee reduced? When it comes to Marina, anything is possible. And you guys, on that note, that's going to bring an end to today's News Daily video. They're the 3 wingers we are looking at in January. In the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Out of these 3 players, who do you think is going to help boost our hopes of securing Champions League football for next season? Who do you think's worth the money, or who do you think's the best player? These are the thoughts and opinions that I want to read from you guys in the comment section, so make sure you do that. You guys, I'm going to keep things moving right now. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you guys in a bit.